And welcome back. Today we are in Universal Studios Beijing. First time coming here. Been to Beijing a bunch of times, but first time actually coming to the theme park. If you guys are brand new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Always try to get you guys here some cool places to see. So yeah, entrance looks pretty cool. A couple tips before we actually go inside about tickets and entrance. So the entrance tickets is about $37 or 270 RMB. Now for the express pass or the fast pass, it's about $120 to $760 depending on which day you visit and the package you get. So the price really does jump up pretty easily and fast. Now the prices can also vary depending if you're using trip.com, Klook, or if you're using WeChat mini program, the Universal Beijing Resort app itself. I would check all three just to get the best deal. Now also, when you do come in, you have to go to the guest drop-off. Some people do go to the Universal Hotel. Now if you're staying there, that wouldn't be a problem because then you will have a VIP access. But if you are not staying at the hotel, go to the guest drop-off instead, and this will get you to the start of the city walk. Now the city walk looks very familiar to the one in California where they have lots of shops, restaurants, food, a movie theater. So it's pretty cool to see everything when you're coming in. And then of course the entrance, they have their own unique spin of how Hollywood looks like. Be sure to stop here towards the end of your visit so that way you could buy some souvenirs. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is once you go through the main gate, I usually like to go to the right. I don't know why it's always been a thing of mine. Right is always right or something, I don't know. But anyway, this is going to be like the Illumination Land, Minions Land, I don't know what you want to call it. They have a couple familiar rides and a couple new ones. So the first place is the lights camera action. Now this is very familiar to what we have here in the States. The one thing I was actually very surprised is it was a national holiday during this week and it was not as busy as I thought it was going to be. Now because there's very few people here, I was able to walk right in. And the show, of course, was amazing. I always like coming to these things because they do put you in the movie scene. But it was pretty cool to see all the special effects and everything that they do here in person. Now, when you do walk outside, you will see some shows, some dancers, some people dressed up as characters. So be sure to take your pictures while you're there. And when you're entering the Minion Land, there is this side little area that was pretty cool. They had like a little roller coaster and some other minions there hanging out. I was able to get on the coaster and it was very, very short, but actually it was a lot of fun going into that. So if you don't mind roller coasters, go ahead and go into this one. It does not go upside down. Now they do have the Despicable Me house and they do have their ride here, which is again very similar to the one in California, but the way they had it set up was a little bit different. So it was pretty cool to see how unique it was. You do enter this giant chamber where you sit down and it takes you into this 4D environment. And of course they take you on this big adventure, which was a lot of fun to see. So highly recommend doing this. Now once you exit off of that Minion Land or Minion section, make a left and you're gonna find this Jurassic World area, which I think it's actually pretty cool. I like it because it's different from what I'm used to. Yeah, definitely do both rides. So coming into the Jurassic World, it looked very, very big, and I like how they had it all set up. Everything was wide open, and it did look like you were entering like some Jurassic Park. They do have a couple areas here where you can take pictures of the animals, which of course it's either somebody dressed up in a costume or some sort of puppet. So the first one I'm going to talk about is this Jurassic World encounter, which is actually pretty unique. It's not the one in California where you get on a boat. This is more of a vehicle that you're roaming around and you're trying to escape from the dinosaurs. It's a pretty secured seat and it's kind of bumpy along the way, but it's actually very, very fun. They do have these giant screens so it immerses you into the actual movie, and then as you're going they have these animatronics or robots that are coming and attacking you, which is very, very cool as you're running away. And then once you come out of here, there is going to be this Avery section. There are some kiddie rides here, but the biggest ride that we're going to go to is the Jurassic Flyers, which at first I was a little bit nervous about, but it was actually a lot of fun. You do come in here, it does look like it's going to be like a crazy roller coaster, but it's not. It doesn't go upside down or nothing like that. It does go a little bit fast and it does turn from left to right, but there isn't really spinning or anything. It's kind of hard to explain. All I can say is I had a lot of fun on this and I definitely will do this again. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is sometimes in China they have certain holidays, certain events. Right now I'm in a big holiday, a very big holiday, where about 90% of China's not working and everyone's on holiday. I recommend getting the Fast Pass, the Premier Pass, or Access Pass, whatever it's called, and this is why. So one of the top countries with the highest population in the world, when everybody decides to go on holiday all at the same time, you could kind of imagine how crazy everything gets. With this Premier Pass or Express Pass, you are able to bypass so much stuff and get in front of the lines and even have dedicated seats and dedicated areas that you would go to skip all that. Sometimes a line could be 2-3 hours, where this Express Pass could cut it down from 5 to 10 minutes. I believe one of the rides was about 3 hours long and I only had to wait for 20 minutes, which was great. It is a little bit more expensive, but highly recommend it. Now that we got that out of the way, we are leaving Jurassic World. We actually are going back towards Illumination, but instead of going into Illumination as soon as you exit Jurassic World, you want to go left for Harry Potter. Now there is 2 rides there, so yeah, let's see how it is. So right when you get out of the Jurassic World, you will see the Minions Land. Just head to the left and you'll see like this green area with some trees. As you're heading in, this is going to be the Harry Potter world, where they do have some shows and they have 2 rides and of course lots of shopping. A lot of people do like to get dressed up, and there's even some games with some wands that you can play with. So be sure to explore this area, and if you have a map, you could participate in some of the games. Now, I did see one of the shows that they had here with some of the girls that were dancing and some of the guys that were doing some acrobats. It was pretty neat to see here because the castle was just right there, so it was nice to see everything. Now, the very first ride was a roller coaster, and I couldn't get too much footage, but you could pretty much see exactly what it is that you get. Of course, it doesn't go upside down, but it does go pretty fast. Now, the dark ride that they do have inside, I have to say, it did make me dizzy, and it's just because of how the seats were moving up and down. It was just very awkward and weird. The ride itself was fun, but again, because it made me feel dizzy, it was kind of unpleasant to do it. But if you don't get any motion sickness at all, then this ride will be fine for you. Okay, so after the whole Harry Potter thing, they do have Waterworld and also the Panda thing. So pretty cool. The Waterworld already started, and it looks like they're trying to splash people. This should be fun and interesting. Now, if you're not familiar with Waterworld, it is based on a movie if the entire Earth was made out of water and all the land disappeared. They pretty much bring this movie to life, so if you haven't seen the show, this is something that you should do. Keep in mind, if you do sit in the front, you will get wet, so the higher you sit, the better the chances are that you don't get wet. Enjoy. Alright, so they do have a Transformer area, and I want to see what they have. It looks pretty cool. Like, this whole little land area is all Transformers, which is nice. And right next to this is going to be that Kung Fu Panda, which I'm going to show you guys after this. It's pretty neat. So they do have the Transformer ride, which you pretty much sit in and then you go around through like a 3D thing, just similar to the one that they have in the States. They do have some other rides and some meet and greets with some of the characters, which is pretty cool. And then they do have this roller coaster that was actually pretty cool. They even have the sound effects of when the robots like transform. Now, right down the walkway, they do have like this dance show that they come around every now and then for the parades, and they do some dancing, some music. It was pretty cool and fun to see the performers. And right next to that, almost towards the exit, you will see how How to Train a Dragon. Be sure you do check the times and make time to see this show because it was very cool how they did everything. The one thing I was very surprised is that they had a dragon that was flying around inside the theater, so this is very cool. Now, of course, they have the Kung Fu Panda Land, and this is the part that was awesome. It is indoors, and it is a very big area. Their main attraction right here is a boat ride, almost like a Pirates of the Caribbean ride, a water ride, where you go through the boat, and it pretty much simulates everything from the last movie that they did. So going through this, seeing all the special effects, and seeing everything that they did was very neat to see. There is a long line for this, so try to do this first thing when you come into the park. And that is it for Universal. That Kung Fu Panda ride is pretty nice, even though it's like a slow water ride, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean if you're familiar with some of the water rides for Disney. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's different. Yeah, excited to see if they expand this area or if they do anything else with it. But cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I always try to show you guys some of the cool things that you guys can do. Stay tuned to the next episode because you never know where we're going to go. With all that being said, you guys take care of each other. See you guys in the next one.